Here's what I would like you to do on this sheet. Take it, and the first two problems are just review of what we already know how to do, hopefully. And so graph those first two exercises. They are just x squared functions that have different things done to them. Bless you. All right, so remember, I don't know where you are in this process. I don't know how much you've been practicing. You can always start by just doing your basic function first. So notice on both graphs, in a dotted line, I have put the basic graph points for x squared because both of these graphs, like I told you, chapter 3 is all about quadratics and parabolas. And so what happens to this graph? What does the -4 do to this graph? Okay, we go right 4, and what does the -3 do? Down 3. So I'm going to take the whole graph, right 4, down 3. So if that means you need to take each of these points individually, or what I like to do is I just take the vertex, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my vertex here, and no stretching or shrinking has happened. So I'm just going to treat the vertex like my new origin, and I'm going to go over 1, and when I square 1, I get 1. Over 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Over 3, and we square 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the same thing on the other side. And so here in nice vibrant pink is my graph of x minus 4 squared minus 3. The other graph starts off with a negative. What does the negative out in front of my square, what does that do to my basic graph? It's a reflection. It flips it. It makes all the y values negative. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm in pencil, to keep it lighter, is I'm going to take all these y values. Instead of positive 9, it's negative 9. Instead of positive 4, it's negative 4. Instead of positive 1, it's negative 1. And we got 0. Then we've got negative 1, negative 4. And then here we go. So here's in pencil. That's not the final answer. This right here is just the negative x squared. Okay, that way I have it. And then just like we did with the last problem, now I'm going to take that negative x squared graph and the plus 2. What does the plus 2 do to this graph? Okay, it moves it left 2, and then the plus 7 moves it up 7. So I'm going to take the whole thing and I'm going to move the whole thing left 2 and then up 7. And then I've got my basic points. It's been reflected, but it's not been stretched or shrunk. So I'm going to put these points and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there we go. And so here in lovely aquatic blue is that graph. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do, well, I've got 7 minutes and I still got to pass back your tests. So let me just tell you where we're going, and we'll start here when we get back next time. So what we're going to do now in this section is we're going to say, okay, in example 1, and I'll define a quadratic function for you. So just we'll end right here. But I've got this form of the quadratic function. This is what's called standard form, and I'll define this next time. But how can I take this and write it in the format that I've gotten used to graphing? Okay, and I'm going to call this up here vertex form. I don't know if that's the official lingo for it, but that's what I like to call it, vertex form. So what we're going to do first is we're going to learn how do I convert the function from this format to this format right here so that I can graph it nice and easily. So that's where we're going to be next time. So I hope you're excited. Let me end the recording. Boom.